Welcome to the fastest Prix of the year in Rome. Catfish on pole from Cable and Revo, home driver. Then it's Remy LeBeau, Sebastian Ocampo, the championship leader, and Babinus Jr. Lawrence Leclerc starts 7th from Pierre Gasly and Oscar Falstad. Then it's Daf Sanchez in 10th, Marcus Nelson in 11th, and the Red Devils starting 12th. Tenali Gabo at his home race starts 13th from Anok Q and Tommy. Then it's Ica World, Mohamed Al-Wawi, Daniel Bogdasarov, and Zach Wallace starts his home race from 19th. Pablo Sierra starts 20th from Ben Allen Lee and Zay Lane. Halfway through season number 21, and Catfish, going for his first title, starts on pole. All 5 lights go on. And we are underway in Italy. Very good start from Catfish off the line. Cable actually didn't get that good of a start off the line. Looks like he might get caught by either Remy LeBeau or Revo as they head down into the first chicane. On board with the number 89 man as they head through turn 1. Off track goes Cable. Ben Allen Lee gets a 5-second time penalty, and in fact contact is caused there. Said balanced for whatever reason. But on board we go with Remy LeBeau, who's up into third ahead of the home favourite in Revo. Down the inside he looks to go, but he's 3/10 off the back of the season 10 champion. Marcus Nelson has been given a 5-second time penalty. He's opted to start this race on the hard tyres. But out in front, Catfish leads from Cable and Remy LeBeau. We've had 6 different winners in the first 6 races, but Catfish is trying to take his second win of the season and open up a championship lead. He's currently 1 point off of the man currently 7th in this race, Sebastian Ocampo. And we do expect a lot of new configurations for tracks, a lot of new countries joining the ERL in terms of host countries as they round out Curva Parabolica. And on to the main straight they go to start lap number 2 of 13. It's not the shortest lap, which is why it has 13 laps. It's also not the longest lap, but it is one of the longest. But it goes by so quickly just because of the speed that you can build up around here. If you can get into a flow state, then 400 kilometers per hour should be easy. And Zach Wallace out in Rome at the chicane, missed that car. But the McLaren driver out of his home race as Catfish sets a fastest second sector on the yellow. It's a virtual safety car here in Rome, and Revo's actually dropped back to 5th. This is not a good day to be Italian. Virtual safety car is ending, and we're looking at the number 7 right now. We get back underway, and there have been rumours swirling about the Venturi team, whether or not they will continue into next season. And there have also been swirling rumours about Nissan. However, Nissan are certainly more likely to continue since they've got a longer history in the ERL. It's just with Venturi, we're not too sure on if they will continue as Venturi for next season, as there's a massive fight happening for the places on the podium. On board of Catfish heading down into the first chicane. Cable pulls out to the inside. Here comes the Power Renault driver down the inside, braking late, goes over the curb, goes off the track and gets contact. Spin for Catfish for the 2nd week in a row. Big contact and goes up into the air. Hits Babinus Jr. Both drivers with time penalties. For Catfish, is this hope for the championship going up in a plume of Italian smoke? It was a wrongly thrown defense. Tommy's been given a time penalty. In fact, that's Bogdasarov in the wall now and gets flipped too. That's Sierra, who's also been hit. Bogdasarov in the wall now. Catfish is dropped to 8th. He doesn't have damage, at least not to his car, but to his own. The hopes of winning in Rome certainly must have taken at least a little bit of a knock. So a little bit of a suspension issue with Bogdasarov's car there, but he is now back out there and running. Lap 3 of 13. And Cable is streaking ahead out in front. Fastest lap of the Prix goes to the Britain, a 1:15.016. And if Cable were to win this race, I can only imagine the scenes down at Sims Porsche, because that is a championship lead that's just been knocked away. But look at those soft tyres. Look at those front soft tyres. They're beginning to show some signs of blistering. And coming through the Variante della Roggia, you can see right here, he's gone very deep, and that's just because of how little grip those softs are providing him. It's only going to get worse from here on out as we look with Sanchez. And Sebastian Ocampo's out! Championship leader Sebastian Ocampo is out of the Romy Prix. That gives Catfish a little bit more security. Now he knows all he has to do to leave here leading the championship is to outscore his rivals, but more than anything, just finish in the points. But Cable, who's currently in the lead of this, I'm pretty sure he's got the net championship lead, being the man to take his second race win in the season. We go back racing on lap 4 of 13. We might see some drivers coming to the pits at the end of this lap. That is going to be anyone on the mediums, but it could be Cable, who comes out of the Parabolica, but does go on to start lap number 5. Remy LeBeau stays out, Babinus Jr. stays out. Does Sanchez come in? Yes, he does. Remy LeBeau has actually come in. You always are able to come into the pits very late on board with the Red Devil. Catfish is coming to the pits, watching with Cable, the man who leads this race and is going for the championship lead in Rome after winning the crown, one of the 3 crown jewel events at the start of the season in Shanghai, and he's out! Cable out of the Romy Prix. Babinus Jr. now leads, but he's got a time penalty to his name, and that's at the Variante della Roggia once again. And it's just a sign of how having low grip can truly impact your race. That's going to be a big worry for this man, Tommy, as he now approaches the Variante della Roggia. I don't expect Venturi to double stack, but once again, talking about Venturi, there's rumors spreading that Revo is looking to bring back Revolution Racing by taking over the Venturi team, and that's Bogdasarov. And he's lost his front wing down at the Variante della Roggia. Here goes Zaylane up into 17th ahead of the Frenchman with front wing damage and no usable attack charge. We expect Babinus Jr. to come in, and he does. Does Revo, the home driver, come into the pits? Yes, he does as well. Gasly follows them in. So it will be Lawless Leclerc who will start lap number 6 of 13. 6 laps done, 7 laps to go in Italy. This race has really gone by quickly, but there's still been a lot of action that's happened. We've had 2 champions and a home driver crash out in Italy, and in fact, Cable still has the fastest lap of this race. Drivers now funneling out of the pit, but on board with Leclerc in the number 16 as he comes through the Della Roggia chicane and keeps it out of the wall just about. It's really scary for all of these drivers just trying to keep it on track. Tommy's in the barriers. He hasn't gotten too much damage, but Catfish is out. No! I cannot believe it! That right there is Catfish's Sims TS car. And it is stricken on the side of the track in Rome. That is his day done. I cannot believe what I've seen. 3 championship hopefuls all out in Rome. It's not like Marina Bay. It's not like Marina Bay in the slightest, where you've got all drivers going out. It's all based on grip. And it just seems like Catfish, Cable, and Ocampo just didn't have it. What Zach Wallace had earlier on when he crashed out, that was just a stroke of bad luck, unfortunately for him. In comes Lawless Leclerc. But the likelihood is now, with Marcus Nelson leading lap 7 of 13, the likelihood is currently that we are going to see a 7th different race winner out of the first 7 races. That would be brilliant to see. The only man in the top 5 who's currently won a race so far is the man who's just made contact. Oscar Falstad won last time out in Amsterdam, but he's got massive wear to his front softs. Mediums, rather. I'm beginning to confuse the tyre compounds. As through the chicane comes race leader Marcus Nelson to Nally. Gabo is in the wall. That's Falstad in the wall and a puncture. Don't tell me that's for Gabo. Gabo's got a puncture. Falstad out of this race. And for the men, second and third in this race, brilliant scenes happening. McLaren will score 0 points today because both of their drivers are out. And their season 21 horror story continues. But that puncture for Gabo, that's actually just opened a 7-second gap between him and Marcus Nelson. It's a rear puncture on his hard tyres. And contacts for Revo, home driver, looking to try and get past the slow limping driver. Oh dear, this is absolutely carnage in Rome. Real clash of the Titans. It's level stuff happening here on board with Tommy coming across Gabo. You can really tell the reaction times of all the drivers. And here comes Bogdasarov. He's not going to be lost anymore. Oh dear. Remy LeBeau. He's only got 2 career race wins to his name. Pierre Gasly's been given a time penalty for colliding with Pablo Sierra. But for Remy LeBeau right now, on lap 8 of 13, he's looking to try and make it 2 different countries that he's won in for his 3rd race win. Babinus Jr. swings deep, going through De La Rocha, but just about manages to keep it on track. He's able to fight for another day, but he's lost time to Remy LeBeau. We've got side-by-side action between the Red Devil and Zay Lane. The man currently in 7th. Here comes the number 99 Lane with a track limits warning. 3 wide. Look at that. Heading down the hill. Curva del Serragilo. I can't speak Italian either. But there is Pablo Sierra, currently in 8th, ahead of the 2 Trackhouse drivers behind him. Here comes Leclerc in that blue Trackhouse car, going alongside Pablo Sierra down the inside, coming through Curva Parabolica. And that is 8th position for the British Monegasque driver. In comes Pablo Sierra for his only stop of the day. But here comes Babinus Jr. for the race lead today. And contact side by side, bumping his teammates. It's a new fast lap. Aaron Lee sets a 1:12.883. 4 laps to go. Babinus Jr. leads, but there was some certain contact there as they now head into the Variante de la Rocha, which will spit them out into the 2 Lesmo turns, and contact with the barriers for Revo at home. He's lost his front wing. Gasly has a 10-second time penalty. Track's been cleared, but is that front wing still down there? No, it is not. They have cleared that up. For Revo, not the best day in the office at home. But currently, as it stands, he might actually have a pretty good shot of leading the championship. All he really has to do is score points, because his major title rivals have had just as bad as a day as he has. All Revo really has to do is score points. He's fighting for 3rd on the road right now, and it's probably not going to be 3rd at the flag. Lap 10 begins. In comes Remy LeBeau for his 2nd stop. In comes Revo for his 2nd stop. There's a threat of rain, but we don't expect it to actually come. Sanchez, Eichelwald both into the pits. Marcus Nelson sets the fastest lap at 1:12.683. Leclerc gets a 5-second time penalty and goes straight off the track. Manages to keep himself in this race after contact with the Red Devil. Watching with Babinus Jr. as he comes through that chicane, the De La Rocha chicane, or just Variante de la Rocha. And you can see how little grip some of these guys have. It is... Oh, Tommy out of this race! As I was mentioning how little grip some of the drivers have, we get shown a prime example. Tommy out of this E-Prix for DS Venturi Formula E team. As we are looking back with Daniel Bogdasarov, Revo came out of the pits in 13th currently. Virtual safety car is ending. Oh my goodness, there are darkening skies out there in Rome. there's a chance of rain. It could rain in the dying stages of this Romy Prix. Of all the things that could happen, rain is not one of the things that the teams probably would have wanted to predict. On board with the Red Devil, you can see the floodlights are certainly on. Pierre Gasly dives into the pits, but is that a very, very early call? Zay Lane also into the pits for his second stop. They weren't able to extract as much performance for the tyres as long as possible. The two Nissans almost come to blows, but coming to blows almost there. Mohamed Awawi going alongside Ben Allen Lee. 3 wide fight for 5th position, with Ben being the only one with any sort of damage. And look at that. Very, very terrifying scenes if you're a Venturi fan. Same for all the other teams, and into the wall goes Lala Leclerc. Out of the race goes an Ocue, and he's on the wall. Wall ride for an Ocue, who is out of this race. It's another virtual safety car, another retirement today. But with darkening skies coming over the skies of Italy, Babinus Jr. leads this race for Venturi. The Monaco-based team, I don't think have actually won their home race as we now get back underway. Attack charge fully in use for Babinus Jr. Revo's now into the top 10. Was there a plume of spray coming off the back of that trackhouse Renault car? We're not too sure. Marcus Nelson down the inside on Leclerc to take 3rd position onto the penultimate lap as the Red Devil and Leclerc both into the pits. No damage for the Red Devil. Ben Allen Lee, Mohamed Awawi and Bogdasarov all into the pits. It's a wonder if whether or not pitting right now is the right call if they're not going on to intermediates. But currently, it is Babinus Jr. who is leading in Rome for DS Venturi Formula E team. His tyres save 38%. He will barely make it to the end. He will not make it to the end. He is out. Ionette Babinus Jr. out in Rome. Marcus Nelson takes the lead with tyres that are actually comparable to what Babinus Jr. had. So it's certainly not a surefire thing if Nelson will be the 7th unique winner, whether or not his time penalty comes into the discussion. For Remy LeBeau right now, he's looking to try and be season 21 race winner number 7 in the 27 car. But of course, he does seem to be an Argentina merchant so far in his career. He's taken home race wins, 2 to be exact. Both of them came in Argentina. Both of them came in Buenos Aires. But here comes Marcus Nelson. He's got a 5-second time penalty to his name. It's going to be close to the checkered flag, whether or not he can keep that gap open. But here he goes, onto the final lap. 13 of 13, car number 13 leads in season 21. On board with Marcus Nelson as he heads down through the opening chicane and into Curva Biasano. Just about keeping it out of the walls considering the state of his soft tyres. The next caution period right now would effectively end the race as he comes through the Della Rosa chicane and is in the wall. Oh my goodness me! That is a scary incident indeed. Track's been cleared as Pablo Sierra comes through the chicane, just about keeping it out of the barriers. Remy LeBeau's been able to close up to the back of Marcus Nelson after that incident. Nelson has lost his front wing column in its entirety, but should be good to the end of the race. But it will not be an end of the race where he will see the checkered flag first and hold that trophy. Currently, he would drop down to 4th position. He's doing his best to pull out an advantage ahead of Remy LeBeau as he comes through the parabolic concern. But it will not be Nelson. It's going to be Remy LeBeau for the 3rd time in his career, who will take home victory in Rome. And for the 2nd time in his career, he didn't even come across the line first. Who's going to take the fastest lap? That's the next question on everyone's lips. as Nawali comes across the line in 12th. Gabo's going to be the last eligible man, but it seems like it will be Lawless Chicluk with the fastest lap of the day. But what on earth was going on throughout that race? That's my main question. And I've got no clue who's going to be leading the championship after today, but what I do know is that Remy LeBeau, for the third time in his career, is able to step onto the top step of the podium, ahead of Pablo Sierra and Zaf Sanchez. Then it's Marcus Nelson, Ica World, Revo, the Red Devil, and Zay Lane. Then it's Mohamed Nawawi, Pierre Gasly, Lawless Chicluk, Daniel Baltasarov, Ben Allen Lee, and Tenali Gabo, with the non-finishers being Anokyu, Babinus Jr., Tommy Folstad, Catfish, Hugh Cable, Ocampo, and Wallace. In the driver's standings, Pablo Sierra takes the lead, 10 points ahead of Revo. Then it's Remy LeBeau, Sebastian Ocampo, Catfish, Hugh Cable, 1 point ahead of both Tenali Gabo and Lawless Chicluk. Then it's Marcus Nelson tied for 7th. Then the Red Devil, Pierre Gasly, Daf Sanchez. It's Volstad Nawawi tied with Babinus Jr., 1 point ahead of Zay Lane, 1 point ahead of Ica World. Then it's Zach Wallace, Ben Allen Lee, and Tommy with Baltasarov and Anokyu yet to score any points. In the constructors' standings, heading into the next round of the championship, a crown jewel event, DS Techeetah lead the way on 98 points from Kira Renault and Sims Porsche DS. Then it's DS Andretti Power Renault, 1 point back. Then it's Renault Edams, Trackhouse Renault, Mercedes EQ, DS McLaren TGR, and DS Venturi Formula E team heading into their home race. And Nissan Nismo rounding out the field. We'll see you guys next time then for the crown jewel event, the Monte Carlo E-Prix.